the money, I be getting to the back. People think I'm funny cause I always make them laugh. I ain't even being funny, I be really spitting facts. I'm about balance and I got talent. Every challenge I overcome. Low key is savage, never be average. Give me a task and I'll get it done. Minding my business whenever I come in. I'm handling business while I'm having fun. I ain't worried about winning, but that would be dumb cause there's no competition. I already won, huh? Yeah.
Peace, 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 family. How you all doing? I hope all is well with you. My name is Keisha. I'm the owner of Astrologiks, and I am your astrology coach. Today, I'm going to be discussing the Pisces new moon, which is the start of eclipse season. And there's a lot going on, family. I mean, when isn't there, right? But eclipse seasons are always freaking bonkers. Now, this is not an eclipse new moon. I have to make that distinction. This is just starting the eclipse because the North Node is in eclipse, and I'll get my little handy dandy pen here so you guys can see what I'm talking about. But so anytime we have a new moon, it's when the sun and the moon conjunct. So you have the heart and the mind on the same page. They are in alignment with each other. And then here you have the North Node, but it's too far to be an eclipse new moon. And so it's not an eclipse new moon. It's just connected to where Pisces currently is right now. So it is the start of eclipse season. And so you have a new moon in the sign of the last zodiac of all the signs. And so we are having a new ending, new mindset, new thoughts, new habits, new addictions, new vices, new ideas around these things, around old habits, old ways of doing them, but in a new way. I'm looking at this as a culture shift. This is because it is um, connected to the North Node, which is the collective energy. So us as people, as a collective, this is our mission. And if you look at Jupiter and Gemini, which it will be squaring, by the way, um, you Jupiter is the ancient ruler of Pisces. Um, Jupiter rules, it's really about the world, is what I'm trying to say. It's mundane astrology more so than it is about the personal, your personal destiny and things of that nature. So it's really going to be about what's going on in the world that's changing, that we're kind of reflecting on, looking at around really the last 12 months, to be quite frank, but just to keep it less overwhelming. The last Pisces eclipse we had back in September, what was happening for you that you've been trying to change? Because Saturn has been here and Saturn is getting ready to wrap up its uh, cycle here in Pisces and move into Aries. And so Saturn is like, I've taught you a lot. You've learned a lot already, even though it feels like, you know, um, it might feel like something new. And for the most part, it is, but this something new has been going on for quite some time where you have to integrate the new into the old habits, right? And so there's something that you've been doing, a lifestyle you've been living, the way you value yourself, you know, the way you look at yourself, the way you think about yourself, the way you think about the world. changes that you want to make. All these things, Saturn has been like, okay, let's get some structure, reality, around what your new vision is, your new self is. Um, and let's get some structure around that, and then we can put it into play. And so I feel like a lot of this new moon is going to feel very lackadaisical. You're going to feel like you're in fog. You can't keep your thoughts together. You might be really sleepy. You might really not want to be bothered with a lot of people, especially energetically. Um, and that's because the changes that you want to make are trying to integrate with who you are and manifest in the physical, right? And so then we can look at the sextile to Uranus and Taurus, because Taurus is the physical. And it's also connected to Aquarius, and we are in the Aquarius age. And so I think a lot of generational curses, again, habits, ways of living, thinking, being, people are like, we're tired, we're so over it. But it's hard to change. When you've been doing something 20, 30 years, it's like, okay, I know I need to do it. You might be good for like a week or two, and then you're like, I'll come back to it. Or something comes up and you go back to doing stuff the way you're used to doing it, what's comfortable. Saturn can also be about, the mundane things that you do over and over again. It likes that feeling, of having a set schedule, knowing where you need to be, structure, right? Discipline, right? And now we're kind of being asked to change that lifestyle, that structure, that discipline to something else. You know what this kind of reminds me of? Um, if you've been following me for a while, you've heard me share about when I tried to stop smoking. And this could be with any addiction, but um, for some reason, the moment in my mind I told myself I was going to stop smoking, I started smoking more. I even changed from shorts to long cigarettes. Um, it was freaking crazy. It was like I'm literally myself was fighting myself about making this change. And I had to go through withdrawals and, all the changes that come with an addiction, releasing an addiction. This is what this can feel like, and it can be very overwhelming. We might be really hard on ourselves because we know we need to make these changes, but Pisces energy is very lax. It's like, maybe I'll just sit here and scroll through the phone. Next thing you know, it's like 2 hours later, you're like, damn, I didn't get shit done today. Very comfortable and really thinking. And so a lot of the times I've explained meditation as more than just what, pop culture explains it as. The biological explanation for meditation is that your mind is trying to understand something new and integrate it into what you have already been doing. And so that's what's happening. And it can feel like you're ebbing, flowing through energy. Sometimes you're good, sometimes you're bad. Sometimes you forget, sometimes you remember. It's just the way it's going to be, right? And so try not to feel bad or, get depressed or down and out because you feel like, you're supposed to be making these changes, but you're not. Your body is just trying to understand what your mind is telling yourself, right? And so when all these planets move into Aries, we're going to start to see that we're really having an internal battle. Um, and we're at war with ourselves to change and do better, be better, or whatever that change is for you. It's not everybody ain't gonna be better. Some people finna get real frolicked and be like, "Bitch, I said no." We might not be as nice anymore, or even a little bit more selfish with our time, our energy. Um, but I think a better way to look at it is more like um, if I don't make these changes, I don't accomplish my goals, you know? And so that might mean that people, places, and things you have to make room for, right? Because that's what the addiction, releasing the addiction was for me, is that really, I mean, yes, there was a biological response to quitting, but really, I didn't have anything else to do. You know, I had to pick up a new habit, a new vice. And so for some people, that's going to be changing your health, your diet, your exercising more, because opposite of that, we have Virgo, and in 2 weeks, Virgo is going to come in and help you declutter. Mercury wants to break things apart, look at all the pieces, put them back together again, right? And so, with it being in the South node too, again, these are all these old habits that we've been holding on to, and um, it's where we're comfortable, right? And then Uranus and Taurus is like, nah, I'm gonna need you to change all that for the betterment of yourself. Or again, you know, for some people, it might not really look that way. But, ooh, what happened to you? You used to be nice. Not today, bitch. Okay, I got some shit to do. You know? And so try to be patient with yourself and others, knowing and understanding that we're just trying to understand and integrate the new changes for ourselves, whatever that looks like and or whatever that means for ourselves. I think we always also have Mercury here, and let me just show you guys. Mercury's here, and Pisces, and so Mercury typically is pretty strong, right? Um, in Pisces, um, or I mean, Mercury alone in itself is pretty strong, but I just don't. I think Mercury at this point is like, I'm tired of breaking shit apart, looking at all the details and putting stuff together. Leave me alone. Mercury's siding with Pisces at this point. Like, I'd rather do something more creative. Let's draw. Let's write. Let's, um, you know, watch movies, make a movie, do some film. Let's dress up. Pisces is Venus. Is Venus? Oh no, Venus is still is in Aries. Venus was in Pisces in January. It will be going back into Pisces retrograde. But you know, it could just be about wanting to feel good, like, you know, escaping from the everyday mundane. This could be about taking a vacation, getting some sleep, taking a bath, getting a massage, you know, really pouring into yourself. This was my cuppeth runneth over example. You know, if you really want to do something and you really want to be compassionate and you really want to help others heal, at the end of the day, you have to make sure you're 100, you know, and you can't really do that successfully if you're not, or if you're burnt out, if you don't like your job, if you're surrounded by people you can't trust, or people with victim mentality, you know, people that bring your energy down, you know, you won't be successful. Or I won't say won't, but it could be a lot harder to succeed in whatever it is you're trying to do in an unhealthy environment, right? And so we could be very forgetful, losing things. But it is a good time for closure, you know, meeting up with the past, um, getting some clarity and understanding on things. I actually think so. Venus is in shadow, and Venus will be going retrograde March 1st. And so this Pisces new moon is happening on February 27th. That's like a few days after. And I actually really think the past is supported more. Now, whether you stay with that past thing or what have you, I think is irrelevant. I think what's more important here is about addressing like hashing things out, talking things through, writing letters, emails, text messages, communicating, learning how to communicate, learning how to listen, to really solve past issues with people, places, and things, or at the very least, to get over it, to see it for as a blessing in disguise. Um, and how much it's bettered you in some way. So dream signs, symbols, synchronicities is going to be on fleek really for the next 18 months with Pisces North Node. Um, Having some really like lucid dreams. Like, I think I shared this story, or she's been following me for a while too. I remember one time I was asleep, but I was having a dream that I was awake. But when I tried to get up, I couldn't get up. And when I did the research, it was something like my spirit was outside of my body, and so I couldn't move, but I was dreaming. So I thought, stuff like that it's gonna be real fucking, it's gonna get real weird, in the best way, you know. Kind of get drunk on stupid, and it's kind of supported with Pisces, you know. And when I say drunk on stupid, I don't mean people are going to be stupid, but we're not going to be so worried about, the small little things that we typically might um, look at because something doesn't look the way you want, or, you know how like you have those dating lists. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Don't look at me like that. The dating list where you meet somebody and you got 10 things that you're like, these are, I'm not breaking this 10 list thing. And then the person comes and they have 9 things, and then they don't have that one thing, and you leave them for that one thing. Yeah, Pisces does not care about that. They're not too judgmental in that way where they're super focused in on what's not working. They're more compassionate, unconditional love and understanding. Like, nobody's perfect, right? I think we all expect um, when we meet somebody that they'd be halfway decent, at the very least, but nobody's going to be perfect, right? And with this much Pisces energy, I'm like, girl, is you somebody that can say something to you and feel like embarrassed or ashamed about it, or just like overthinking it and really letting it get to them. Like, girl, I burnt my damn forehead the other day. Stop playing. Little stuff like that, I think is going to come up in very, I actually think it's going to be fun, cute ways where we kind of overlook the small stuff for the right reasons, though, not to the point where you're doing things foolishly. Although with Venus and Aries, you might. Okay. I'm just putting that out there because Venus and Aries is on one. And so this Pisces new moon is happening at 9 degrees. 9 degrees is a Sagittarius degree. Like I said, Sagittarius is in Gemini. And so that's the world global mundane astrology, the legislations that Trump is driving everybody crazy with, and the tariffs, inflation, especially once all these planets move. Neptune specifically, not all the planets, Neptune specifically is going to move into Aries. That's inflation, hyperinflation too, like in the worst kind of way. The really crazy thing about it is that Trump is the answer, Like, no matter how you chop and screw it, like, honest to freaking God, what he's doing is like what we need. The problem is that no matter what America does, it's in debt. Like, they can't ignore that anymore. And so there could be some truths coming out about why a lot of these things, legislations and stuffs are being changed, and um how these things can be helpful. But unfortunately, like I said, it's always going to fall back on the people. The rich people aren't suffering from this. But, the everyday people tend to suffer from these changes because it's going to be up to us to pay for that $20 for eggs, $30 for chips. I'm being funny, but you understand, everything's just going to go up. And that's the answer, unfortunately. It's either that or, it could be a lot worse. It can be something else really, really worse. And I don't think any of us want that. So, um, that's the short end of it. Um, so it's a culture shift, you know. Sagittarius rules long distance travel, other things going on in other countries. By the way, other countries have the same trend going on where they're trying to change and make these changes. Uh, and so we're going to see a lot of allies with Venus and Aries and Pisces changing, with different countries. Um, Everybody's sending immigrants back to their own country, which should be seen as a blessing in disguise, if you ask me. Because you don't want to be here if shit goes bad. You don't want to be outside of your homeland if shit goes bad. Um, or maybe you do, maybe you do. But I don't know. I feel like we all need to kind of like get in alignment with who we are, and that's 9 times out of 10. It's spiritually, it's our home country where we come from, and solve our own problems, you know. I do think that we will come up with some solutions. I don't think it's going to be all bad. Um, 2028 will be worse, but for the most part, it could be worse. There definitely might be a bank collapse. Um, and then they're trying to push in these new smart cities and AI, and unfortunately, that's the answer, And the real bad part is that a lot of this could be being done intentionally to push this automated new world, because they want to sell the idea that we have access to everything, everything's free, you don't have to pay for anything, but you won't own anything. And so I've talked about this before. I won't stay too much on this topic. It honestly depresses me to no end, but you want to own something, whether that be property, investments, something physical, tangible. Don't let them fool you into this new AI world, because it's going to be pretty damn fancy. That's for sure. Um, but is it worth it? And I think over time, once, the Pluto and Aquarius era comes to an end, everybody's going to see that anyways. And then it'll be about, once we get to those last degrees of Pluto being in Aquarius, it'll be about resolving all the AI changes and things of that nature. And so it's important for people to stay natural, keep your feet on the ground. Um, if you have businesses, you definitely want to sell into this AI thing, unfortunately, because uh, that's just the way the world works, right? And that's business. So um, you do well to have a strong AI component to keep you up and running. Otherwise, it could be just like 2020 when all the bigger companies kind of died down, and they haven't really recovered from that, by the way. And so we're definitely going to see a lot more companies, again, banks and stuff like that, the trickle down to that, which again is why AI is going to be so damn important, but it's also a problem too. And so, we have to be careful for that stuff. Have a healthy balance. You know, remember that freedom, sovereignty, and alignment with natural time and natural cycles, eating healthy, being in nature is always going to be the best way to go. Um, yeah, I feel like I could say so much more, but I think we'll be doing a lot of healing through arts, movies. They might censor documentaries. There could be a lot of peace movements, um, some new way to meditate. Um, they might make it hard to get work permits. There's definitely going to be some stuff going on with work, no matter how you chop and screw it up, because again, Virgo is opposite Pisces, and that's in the South Node. And that's going to get shaken up real, real bad. Um, People are going to be healing through art, dance, and poetry. There's going to be a lot of people who aren't going to deal with this stuff so well, They're going to want to escape and get on drugs. I literally think of this as like the 70s when it was like free love and everybody was like high as a fucking kite and living their best life. Because there's going to be a lot of people who are delusional. Um, but I also think that these things need to happen because the truth's coming out. Well, I'll say it like this. If they're happening because truth is coming out, this is going to lead to some type of enlightenment, to mental health crisis, right? This loneliness epidemic that we have going on right now. A lot of reality checks through information. Be careful for being deceived and deceiving yourself more than anything, I think, with this energy. Then yeah, this is self-deception, lying to yourself just to get through. Um, Maintaining emotional boundaries, um, having a healthy amount of alone time to create, to connect with your higher self, you know. Um, Being able to have boundaries that say I need my alone time, but still being able to make time for others, you know. Um, I think we're going to see a lot of things with water and weather. Um, Unfortunately, there can definitely be some stuff with pirates going on, especially once Venus moves back into Pisces. Or that like the cartels and all those other drug people, even though those people might not seem like they have a power, they're just as powerful as some of the most powerful people in the world. And so they're gonna find another way to get that shit. So we can hear like smuggling by boats or some pirating going on sea. Kind of sounds like the Moors too, by the way. They were fucking reckless, you know? Um, there could be some heating stuff going on, like the heating costs could be raised in some way. I think, to be honest with you, I think pretty much anything we get from any other country, depending on how that relationship goes, has the potential to be raised or there's no access to it, and so um stock up on your pharmaceuticals if you're somebody who has health issues, things that you actually need by health. Or again, this is an opportunity to invest in healthier ways to heal. I feel like that's kind of, that could be really, 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 really risky, but start doing some research and um, make the necessary life changes and see if you can heal and get healthy from that way. I actually know somebody who said they had asthma. I don't think it was ever like super, super bad, but something had happened to them in their life. They had an awakening and became enlightened, changed their diet, started taking more vitamins and stuff. They don't have asthma anymore. So I know that it's possible, but I'm just trying to be mindful that, not all medical issues have that time where you can just play around with taking something healthy if you don't know what the hell you're doing. But uh overall, just be mindful if you are somebody who has pharmaceutical needs, stock up because shit's gonna get rough. Um yeah, I think people are going to become more religious. There's going to be a lot of educational issues. Um, People are going to start walking more as opposed to driving, or vice versa. It really depends on your chart, to be honest. Learning new languages, moving to other countries. Um, yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's it. I feel like I can always say more, but I feel like I really covered everything. So make your new intentions for the next 6 months. Um, but don't expect just remember not to be so hard on yourself. You're not gonna figure this out. Um, you're gonna feel like you're in fucking La La Land. Like, did I just do that? So just remember that your body is listening and responding. It's just trying to work itself out through these changes. So as usual, family, I love and appreciate you. I hope you found this information helpful. Peace.